Hello, welcome to Set the Stage. It's just me, Viv J. This is the first episode of the series, and we are so excited that this is our first time putting this together. So, for those that don't know, it is kind of as if a vlog and a podcast emerged. So, where we're discussing topics that range from the Asian American experience, neurodivergence, creative practices, wellness, mood boards, etc. It does feel weird at times that I'm not doing college vlogs right now, and I do miss it, honestly. I mean, those were definitely the high times of my college life. And also, how are we feeling about this style that we're going for? You could probably tell by the description. Imagine if I'm a cross between Mira and my Melody and Kuromi. Well, if you know, you know. Mira from the movie K-pop Demon Hunters, and my Melody and Kuromi, the new animated Netflix series, combined with touches of Lisa and Jennie from Blackpink. So that's what we're going for today. So, anywho, you are now in the first episode of the series, and we will get into today's topic in just a few moments. So, I would say that this may seem new to me, so if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments down below, and also, hopefully this would give some inspiration. So, without further ado, let's jump into the first episode. So, what's going to go down for this episode is talking about how you could learn to become a vlogger within 10 days or less. Maybe you might even master it within the 7 days. And I will be providing some tips and tricks that have helped me as well along the way. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so, and I've also have it written on my laptop, so I'm just going to kind of read from there, and we're going to go in little bits and pieces, and then we'll come down to a closure of everything that I just said. So let's just get started. The first thing you do, the first phase, is brainstorming and goal setting. So that's the kind where your intention here is to become a creator. So I would say the way to get some inspiration is you could watch other people's vlogs. Like, you might have heard of Emma Chamberlain, and you might have heard of, let's see what other vloggers I can think of. There's quite a list. I suggest doing some research. So that's how you kind of look into their influences and kind of their style of vlogging and what content they put up on their channel and everything. So that's something that can be kept in mind. And then the next thing is putting together a vision board, which is probably what I do a lot. You probably could tell from my Instagram profile already from the pictures that I put up there. It's pretty much my mood board on there, and also through stories too. You kind of look into some influences, like what are your interests, what are your tastes in music, fashion, everything. So that's how you figure out what kind of vlogging content that you'd be into. So you might want to do this with a few friends, maybe you want to do this by yourself. So that's a great way to start, and I'll probably talk about more on how you can get more ideas flowing within the series, so this should definitely help you out, hopefully. And another thing was that I've done a lot of reflecting prior hand, so it's a lot of thinking of, okay, well, perhaps I might have talked of my 11-year-old self a lot, or even my 7-year-old self, or teen-age self. If you guys have been following me for many years, you would totally understand, but for my new followers, they probably wouldn't get it, and that's okay. And a way to generate ideas is to type them up on a document or keep a journal, so that's what I also recommend. Like, once you start writing things down, it'll give a sense of like, okay, so with this particular idea, I'm looking into doing this idea and maybe that idea and see how this goes from there. So it does come to a bit of pattern analysis. Well, for us neurodivergent kids, we totally get pattern analysis. And it also may apply to neurotypical folks as well. Not trying to minimize anything. Now that we've covered the first phase, so let's say you got your ideas generating, right? It's on a document, it's in a journal, and you're thinking of like, what touches what I want to put in my clothes? So, like for what I did, for example, prior to filming, I put together kind of a vision board. It's mentally in my head. And then, well, after a watch of movies, watching a lot of movies and other shows and whatnot, it became clear that I was like, what if I were to take little bits of this idea from a show or movie along with another idea from a show or movie and then kind of infuse it? So my styles can be infused and it all varies on the season too. It was like how it did for the DePaul vlogs too. So yep, that's the first point. Now we'll get onto the second point, which will get interesting from there. Okay, so now you've completed the first phase, so how are we doing so far? So first off, I also might have not asked this before, but raise your hand if you've done some vlogging. Raise your hand. Okay, how many? Let's say 1, 2, 3. How many of you have not done any vlogging? Like none at all? Raise your hand. Okay, so it looks like we got a handful of those that don't know where to begin, and that's where I come in. And I feel that I've gotten a lot of questions about this whole number of times. So, yep, if you guys would get it from my previous vlogs, you probably get it, but if you're new, that's totally okay. Now we're gonna get on to the second phase of the jumpstart vlogging. So, okay, so this is where you're setting up your platform, right? Think of your platform as like your stage. You're setting up an account, but also a platform. So the first thing you want to do is follow the instructions for setting up an account for the first timers. I mean, super easy. You could set it up in a few seconds. Just email, whatnot. And then when you put together your aesthetic touches, here's a couple things that have helped me. So with making your touches, by that I mean you have to have a channel art banner and also a profile picture, obviously. I would say for your banner, you want to make it readable. And you could add your favorite colors to it, but as long as it's still easy to see. Because there are certain colors, like bright on bright can be hard to read and dark can be hard to read. So you might want to go like one bright, one dark, or the other way around. Well, typography tips. And it's also best to go simple because you might have heard of that saying, less is more. Yep, that can imply. And how many of y'all are basic girls out there? Raise your hand. Again. Oh, quite a lot. A lot of basic glitter angels. I can't complain. What about for those that like to go out and about? How many of you are like that? Okay, so we've got a mix of basic glitter angels and those that love to go out and about. I totally get it, hun. If you're relating to me, you're like my sister, okay? Or even my brother. I don't have any siblings. I'm a single slice of vegan chocolate cake. Like I was saying, for the second phase, while you're setting up your platform, you're setting up your stage, you also want to make it presentable in a ways that's easy to read, and you also want to provide links too. You want to make sure you're able to do that. So run a few tests, see what works, and then... So when you're on your platform, it may not look like much if you haven't started posting yet. Totally get it. Now we're going to go into the third phase, which is definitely quite a helper. So phase 3 is utilizing what's around you. So let's say you've completed the setting up the platform, right? Like, you have your account, it's there, it may not look like much, but we're getting there. So, when I say using what's around you, here's what I mean. So, if you have a digital camera that you own, like it could be a Canon, Sony, Nikon, I don't know if I said that right. So make sure that it is working properly. So you want to charge the battery, you want to charge, well, charge the battery through the charger, obviously. And then you also want to know how to use it. Utilize your manual, tutorial videos, etc. And do some test shots. This is where you kind of play around and experiment on which parts work best. So it's going to be a whole lot of testing, but it'll be worthwhile to test, make sure everything's working properly. But if you don't have a digital camera, totally okay. So you might want to invest in one. So you could find them at camera stores near you, like any technology locations, like Best Buy, I'm sure, or even the online camera sites too, like Canon. So if you do have a digital camera, great, awesome. But if you don't, that's okay. It's never too late to invest in one. So it may be worth a lot of money, but it'll be worth it for the artistry. And then you could also use your phone if needed, and also a tripod to keep it in place. So from previous vlogs, you might have seen how I got my phone to be positioned still at times. Well, because I had a tripod in my hand to carry it with. And that made it a lot easier because my hands tend to shake pretty bad. So to prevent that from happening, I make sure I put a firm grip on the tripod with my phone and my vlog camera. As we're digging into utilizing what's around you, you might see me with this, my V10 PowerShot camera. So this is what I use for most of my vlogs, I'm pretty sure. And I've also used my phone to save up time. You don't have to go crazy and fancy with the digital equipment, but you can if you want to. Because I've gotten a lot of compliments from people saying like, oh, you look so professional doing it. Well, it's like, that's the point. We're going to get on to the next phase, which is phase 4. So hopefully you've been taking as much notes while you've been able to. This is nothing like a lecture, but more of talking of, well, like I said, vlog and a podcast combined. Who says you can't do the two? That's what I'm known for on the channel at times. A lot of infused ideas. It's like something that you don't see all the time. So we've got through phases 1 through 3. Now we've got 4, which is visualize and inspiration. And here's what I mean by that. So you want to consider the time you can make out of it. Like, for example, whenever you have, let's say you have a YouTube channel, right? And it's best to consider posting weekly or even bi-weekly to keep it consistent. So you could do that, and the same way applies to Instagram and also TikTok, I'm sure. And also, another thing you could do is find certain days that will benefit you. So you're going to need up to at least 1 to 3 days, or even a week, to plan, just to plan out your videos and whatnot, and consider how much filming it would take within a certain amount of time. So it all varies if there's like a time constraint, but there really isn't. Because I'm pretty fast with brainstorming at times. I take about 1 to 3 days. That's how I do it. To plan things out and consider how much filming it would take to get it complete in a certain amount of time. So no need to rush. All you have to do is start slow and try things out. And while you're visualizing and putting together the inspiration within your vlog, you might want to think, so what vlog can be put together within X amount of time? Like, let's say, what can be captured within, let's say, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? And also those vary on your audience's attention spans. So I don't want to be mean. I hate to be mean, but how many of you guys are squirrels out there? Raise your hand. Or consider the squirrel at school. I say that because of my professors in SPO. There was once a time in his class where he told us how he was considered the squirrel in school because of having a short attention span. And I'm like, Jonathan, you're such a smart man. Well, I said that to make him feel good. So, okay, like I was saying, how many of you guys are like the squirrels? The ones with quite the, not a very extensive attention span, but you make up for in other things. I know there are people who have short attention span, some who have a longer period of an attention span. That's quite a tongue twister. So, I would say for the duration of your vlog, it all varies on how much can be put together. It all varies on how much you capture, essentially. So, as you're developing ideas, you also want to consider listening to your favorite songs or just any songs that keep you moving. Like I swear, I wake up nowadays, let's say before 8:30 a.m. and I'm just brainstorming whatever's going on up until noon or 1 p.m. Well, after my gym workouts. The moment I get myself to listen to some music while also brainstorming, it does speed up the process and get the creative juices flowing. And you also might want to gain some inspiration from clothes that you have in your closet. And you're like, well, what does film and fashion have to do with each other? Well, they do, at times. Yes. So, when I say gaining inspiration from clothes that you wear on a daily basis, you want to try to go for something that may be outside of what you wear. And as long as you're comfortable with it, of course. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen me wear a whole bunch of Sanrio stuff, or a lot of pink, a lot of purple. Well, because all of those come to my color palette. So, FYI, not everyone's color palette is the same. I totally get it. Like, for example, when I'm posing for pictures with some friends or some professors or whoever, I run into a lot of opposites attract phase, where I'd be in bright colors and one other person would be in a dark color. Remember how I might have said to other people a lot, maybe you don't, but what I do say is that I utilize whatever's around me. Like, let's say you're at college, right? And you're thinking of what content materials to put together, and also how would that sort of match with my personality that I want to bring. A lot to think about, but it'll be worthwhile in the long run. So the more inspirational type of clothes you have, the better. And I already know a couple girls that have jump-started on that. So hats off to them. Okay, so we're on to the most important phase, which is to capture the moment. And so this is where you get into the cool stuff. So you have your phone or vlog camera in your hand, and you're just getting excited because, oh my god, first time ever vlogger, yes queen. Okay, so, well, for recording it's pretty simple to do. So you just simply press record to start the camera and stop when you're finished. So let's say you're talking on camera. So you want to speak clearly as possible, at least for your audiences to hear you. So you can use microphones that are wired to your phone or camera to block out any noise that is not your voice, which is what I've done, and it does do wonders. And so now I know being on camera can get intimidating at times. I totally get it, honey. First off, you're not alone in this. I know what that felt like a little bit, but I know I might have said that I was camera shy at one point as a kid, which obviously that does not fully imply to what I do now. It took quite some time before starting YouTube to get used to talking in front of a camera, so I got into it when I was 10 years old. And I still remember vividly, even before putting myself out there, how much I actually loved interacting with a camera. It's like it became my bestie. It's like as if I'm talking to a best friend or my childhood imaginary friend, whoever. And so, while you're speaking to your camera, like, just picture this for a second. Imagine you're talking to your best friend, like someone who really gets you. Like, for example, I could be talking to someone like Chris or Jonathan, or let's say even my stuffed animals that are right in front of me on my bed. So you want to showcase your personality. The audience wants to get to know you. And that can be also adrenaline rushing too, babe. And also, with talking composition-wise, you want to consider variation within, let's say, your shots. So there are multiple types of shots that you might have seen in movies, social media, etc. So you might be familiar with these terms, maybe you might not. So it's a good thing that I'm giving you a crash course. Like, we've got head and shoulder, half body, and full body. Well, head and shoulder as in like a headshot, obviously. Of course, here's where I go being my film major again. We've got wide, medium, and tight. So only the film majors would get it. But if you're not a film major, you're totally okay. And while you're recording, keep it going. And it's okay if you mess up. Just start over, try it again. It's all a matter of testing and trial and error. You want to keep it going. You want to showcase your personality to your audiences. You want to show them how bright and creative you are, like how you are to your friends, your family, etc. So that's a lot to think of also. And also, you want to keep capturing as many moments as possible until you have a good amount of footage to work with. And it doesn't have to be just videos. It could be through pictures as well. Like, you could take photos and videos of what you're eating, for example, or even a tour of, let's say, your dorm room, apartment, or you're doing your studying for like a test or studying for whatever the reason might be. I kind of started digging into some college themed content that I did in the past. So I think you get the idea of similarly to what I did in my college vlogs. So I'm pretty sure a lot of folks at DePaul, whenever they see the vlogs, they're like, okay, well, see where this is going. She's documenting her busy schedule, her days in the life, awesome events, her dances, everything. I'm speaking from the DePaul students' perspective, both alums and current ones. Shout out to you guys. You're watching this right now. I see you. There comes a time where someone in your audience needs something to be amped up with. At least a good chunk of your positive energy. It's going to be worthwhile in the long run. Now that we've gone through phases 4 through 5, now we dig into phase 6, which is to put it all together. So now that you've done the pre-production and the production phase, now you're into the post-production phase. Yes, I'm recalling terms from what I've learned as a film major, so all of that hard work definitely paid off. I feel like I'm digging my inner Jonathan Nichols Pethick at this point. Or even Jordan. Now that you've finished collecting your important pieces of content, let's say you've got your photos, your videos to your phone, and you've airdropped it to your computer. So this is where an editing software comes in. So it could be through phone too, or laptop, but I recommend utilizing a laptop of any kind. Could be Apple or PC, but I'm more of an Apple user. I'll forever be an Apple user. Okay. And then, so for the software applications for editing, depending if they're free, there are some free ones like iMovie or DaVinci Resolve. But there's also some paid, like certain applications that require paying to download, like Final Cut or Premiere Pro, like definitely for the Adobe programs, they're based on a subscription, like a monthly subscription, or even yearly. But I suggest that you research on that. So what I use for my vlogs is specifically Final Cut Pro, because I've known how to do that for many years. So when I first started, I didn't really take editing serious. Like when I first started my channel, I didn't take editing serious, but then as I enter throughout middle school, I did start to take it a little serious, maybe a little too serious. Well, because I felt that mentality of taking things on the next level. And that's pretty much me too, in post-grad, now. I use Final Cut for my vlogs, but for the films that I've made, I've used Adobe Premiere Pro. And another story with the Premiere Pro, I'll go short with this one. So when we were first getting to know the application, I do remember in Jonathan's class where after he was showing us on how to basically edit, I was breezing through. Going at it, and he gives off a look from behind me. He's like, wow, that girl is fast. So he was impressed by what I've put together and how fast that I've learned it. And yep. And that's when I started feeling of the potential to major in film, and that's what happened from there. Let's say you're on your editing program, okay? Let's say you do Final Cut, or even iMovie. So it's best to watch tutorial videos based on those as well, because they'll be super helpful on figuring out what techniques you can try, what aesthetics you can try. It also does add on to the mood board too, while you're learning to use the software and you're putting your clips together. So you want to go back and forth between in terms of seeing what the video looks like when certain clips are put together. So there's a lot of trial and error with this phase. So let's say you're going back and forth a whole bunch of times. So the reason why I rewind certain parts of a vlog many times, because the more repetition, it's like, oh, okay, so around this clip, let's see if we want to get rid of this not wanted part, or let's try this one, or add in a text, or let's add in music, or a transition. So it all gives a whole lot of variations that you could choose to go with. And it's kind of like variations in music. Now we get to considering the parts that are not essential and cutting those out. So you probably might have heard about a lot of cutting and splicing, whatnot, whatever. So here's a couple things I would love for you to know about editing. So one of the things that I do mentally ask is what parts of the video will keep the audience engaged. You want to use what's most relevant to the theme of your vlog and everything. And also, instrumental music is encouraged to use if it's a good tool to incorporate in your vlog. So let's say you have a scene where you're talking and it's mostly like silent around you, like no other background noise except for just ambient sound, and you're just talking. So you don't have to add a music if you don't want to. It's totally okay. But at least little bits of instrumental music where there's no talking, it's best to do that. And also while you're looking through other clips, you want to utilize any live sound, only if necessary, of course. And when I say live sound, I mean, like, it could be, like, little bits of background noise, little bit of, like, people, let's say, like in a restaurant or, at a public location. But of course, I mean, there are other technical aspects within editing. So the more live sound that you have from certain video clips, the better you have. Like, the better the chance of putting together that vlog. And it's pretty important. In summation, you are creating the story. You're building the structure. Think about that. Like, every story has a beginning, middle, end. Yep, that's the simplest way to put it. But I like to think of it as the beginning, like chunks of beginning, like beginning of beginning, middle of beginning, end of beginning. And then for middle, it'd be beginning of middle, middle of middle, end of the middle. That can get a little confusing at times. If you've also done screenwriting, you totally get it. For my college students out there, if you've done screenwriting, awesome. But if you've not, give it a try. And then once your edits are complete, you want to run through the vlogs a few times. Like, you want to play it a few times, and then you save it to your computer/hard drive for easy access. And the similar way does imply. So when you're editing the timeline, you have your clip, the clip with the sound with it, if applicable. And then you have your music, your sound effects, and then text. So think of it in this order. Let's say you do text at the very top, clip. So text, clip, music, and sound, very bottom. I'll say this one more time. Text, clip, and sound. Text, clip, sound. That's the way to think about it. The quick, easy way to think about it. I know that's a whole lot of technical stuff, but again, it's a whole lot of trial and error, so it's okay if you don't understand it the first time. Just keep it going. Just keep testing and trying to figure out which one works best, and I assure you that you'll get it. After a couple more tries, you're like, yes, I know the foundation, I've got this. I hope you guys are feeling confident in starting a channel, so I encourage you guys to take it with a grain of salt. It's gonna be worth it. I know you got this. So now that you've done the putting together the story of what you've captured, now we're gonna dig into publishing. Now that you've done the whole hands-on thing, mumbo jumbo, now that you get to do the publishing and promoting phase, which we got phase 7. So now that your video is saved to your computer, it's time to publish. So there are platforms that can be used as it depends on your audience's attention span. Well, not just that, but also how long your vlog is. So for YouTube, it's great for any length, like videos for below or above 15 minutes. Like, you could try that. And then there's also Instagram Reels. I'm sure they have a limit for 3 minutes, close to a 3-minute time limit. And then for TikTok, I'm sure they range between like 30 to up to 10 minutes. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but I suggest choosing a platform that works best for your material. In this case, what I did for vlogs was through my channel, because by the time I entered DePaul, I was like, okay, I want to keep this going and want to make these memories to look back onto later on, and then also a place where people can feel included in a way that is connecting to their world. It's like, I want to help build a connection through this platform, and when people see it, they're like, oh, I recognize that moment from there, blah, blah, blah. Depending on the platform that you choose, you can do multiple, even if it can get difficult, but I suggest sticking to one platform, at least one, where your vlogs will benefit best from, while you're waiting for the video to be ready to be seen. Now, you want to provide a brief description of what is expected for the audience to see. And you also could tell that nowadays I add timestamps, and for those that don't know what that is, they show the points of the video throughout the duration, and what it does, like when you click on it, it will take the audience to specific points that you want your audiences to see. Let's say people are watching your stuff, right? They're probably wondering what happens in the middle, or what's in the getting toward the end, or all that stuff. So it also adds a little bit of not just curiosity, but also realizing that, oh, there are certain moments of the video where it happened in this particular timestamp, this timestamp. So they're kind of directing your viewers to what you intend for them to see. And then you also want to add your socials too, your social platforms, so that viewers can see your materials and see what you've been up to, and it's a great way to network. How many of you have tried copying and pasting links every dang time? So here's what I use for my Instagram bio, which is called Linktree. So what it essentially is that you're setting up your system of social platforms, and it's all collected. It's like in a collection, so you don't have to keep like copy pasting. So when you click on a social link, it will take you to that link. It's intended for giving specific directions to your viewers, and you're like, oh, for Instagram you can go to this link, and then TikTok this link, Facebook this link, so you don't have to keep like copying. And I'm pretty sure under Linktree they already have under the 3 dots they already have like a copy link. So take that, put it in the browser, and then boom, the link is there. Again, I know a lot of technical material thrown at you, but I'm positive you'll get the gist of it by the time after you've seen this video. Okay, so now that let's say your video is ready to be seen, and this is where you want to create a thumbnail. So this will help your audiences get into what the video is expected to show based on what you've put together. It's kind of like it's obviously like close to the first PowerPoint slide, or even the title of a book, like title and cover. Like think of it as like your book cover, or any cover of any kind that kind of like opens the book, literally and figuratively. Let's say you documented your week in your life, and then when people see it, they see pictures of you with friends, or you studying, or whatever, and they're like, oh, this person is gonna be studying for blah blah blah, spending time with friends, doing all the routine stuff, blah blah blah. It all varies on the title too. On your platform, you've got your title, your video, your thumbnail, description, and the icon, like on YouTube, like the letter I, the icons that provide playlists or videos. So, well, it also gives people to see, like to tell your audience, like, hey, from this video, you could go to this link for what I talked about in previous videos, blah, blah, blah. And for applications wise, for creating your thumbnail, I would say using the Canva app is a great tool to use, because it saves up time and it's also free to sign up now that you've got your vlog all ready to send out. So this is where you provide it through a link that is accessible for audiences to click on, and it could be through Facebook and your social platforms. Not just through YouTube, but also through Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, so on and so forth. Whole lot of options for you to choose at this phase. Because I know when I first started, I wasn't really sure about promoting across Instagram too. I mean, I didn't really have an Instagram yet around middle school. It wasn't up until I was 13 or something. I felt confident in putting my vlogs across social platforms to promote, and it still is an important part of what I do as a creator. So it's kind of like a call to action stage. So you're like, hey, this vlog came out and I encourage you to... So it's kind of, you're answering the so what part. You're like, so what? Why should audiences take a look at this stuff? Well, for example, for what I've done in the DePaul vlogs, I don't exactly say like, oh, you're gonna love this vlog. No. I say like, I had a lot of fun with creating this vlog. This was super fun to film and I enjoyed blah blah blah. You could also reference from my DePaul vlogs too. They'll definitely give a tool to help you get started. And then that's it. Keep practicing and it'll get easier with time. There's a lot of phases, but hey, the simplest way you could put it is pre-production, production, and post-production. And even the hardest part may be getting started. That's okay. Do not ever worry if not a lot of audiences like keep flowing at it. You're just starting. You're starting, babe. the experience gets easier, you're like, ah, okay, I can do this. I've done this before in previous vlogs. I know what is expected, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm gonna utilize bits and pieces of what I've done and then incorporate into the next idea. Hopefully you've taken a solid amount of tips and tricks that have helped me from when I first started and throughout when I vlogged at college, etc. Again, please reference to my college vlogs because I still have been missing them in my post-grad phase. So yeah, I really hope this helped you out. That was probably a lot thrown at you, but that's okay because I have been dying to share with you tips on how you can jumpstart vlogging within less than 2 weeks. So let's see if you can know how to do this within 10 days. And I'm doing this not just for the series, but also at this point on, my current college buds, I'm sure they're in the midst of packing to go back to DePaul and also prepping for, let's say, orientation, first days of classes, or even first week of classes, etc. So I know it's so sad that I'm not doing the DePaul vlogs anymore, and I know it breaks my heart saying that every time, and I really do miss the people so much every day, including the people that I see across downtown Greencastle. So this is like an homage to my college friends that have graduated with me and also DePaul alums, professors that I've considered the best people to work with. Hopefully this would help out our current Glitter Angel vlog squad for DePaul. So now that you've seen pretty much this entirety of this episode, now it's up to you to try this out. I guarantee you. It may seem nerve-wracking at first, but it'll get easier with time, so you're not alone in this phase. So for our newcomers, I totally get it, honey. That's pretty much first episode of Set the Stage. I really hope that you gain interest into what I will be providing for the series, and make sure to subscribe down below to be part of the Glitter Angel family, and make sure you have the bell notifications so that you're one of the first to be on my vlogs. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video / episode. Alright, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye! Mwah!